Hey Pates, how's it going? I just wanted to give you some updates on what's happening with Patreon this year. I'm accompanied by Gwen, who will now be signing your books. She, in her own inimitable way, along with Lilith, would like to vandalize and desecrate the books that we send to you. I've got this one in my hand, Handy World War II Answer Book, because this is one that you are going to get in January. So if you're at the $20 tier, I know that this came out last September. I sent out a double book package to see through the end of the year in September of last year. You guys got In Search of Demons and you got A Grave Undertaking, the Blumberg Funeral Home book. So that saw us through the end of 2024 and straight out of the gate in 2025, January book, Handy World War II Answer Book. Everything you wanted to know about why we should punch Nazis repeatedly in the face. And I'm very, very proud of this book. It is 400 pages of World War II history and nerdery and things that you maybe didn't know that you didn't know. So this will be heading to your way in January, so keep an eye on your mailboxes for this, okay? I'll be mailing these out over the next few weeks. Just coming in are the author copies of Dark Spirits, which you guys have already read on Patreon. I'm really proud of this one. This is the new format for my books with Visible Ink. These are 75,000 word books, so not so long that they outstay their welcome, I like to think. Beautiful cover, isn't it? Very, very creepy. And this looks at the darker side of the paranormal, though not necessarily in the ways that you would expect. There are some healthy doses of horrific, scary stuff in here, but there's also a spot of debunking, like why I don't think the Bermuda Triangle is a thing and why the insurance company Lloyd's of London agrees with me. Lloyd's of London even. So Dark Spirits is out on March the 11th, and I will be making sure you guys get this in the mail in March as well. So I don't send these out too early and annoy the publisher. So I'll probably start putting them in the mail end of February, early March. So you guys will be getting these though by the end of March, okay? So Dark Spirits, you've already read it. You saw the actual physical copies here first. I'm really proud of this one to be sharing it with you. The book I'm working on right now that you are reading on Patreon right now, Great Hauntings, is going to be the same format, and they're going to be a nice companion piece on the shelf. That one is Visible Ink's Halloween book, I believe. Either Halloween for next year, or they might push it to first quarter 2026. But I suspect it's going to be our Halloween book because they love releasing ghost books around Halloween. So expect to get Great Hauntings around about September, October. By the same token, I just turned in, along with co-author Tobias Wayland, my draft for the Mothman book. Was American Mothman, was In Search of Mothman, both working titles. Currently looks like it's just going to be called Mothman, which is a fair point. This phenomenon goes further than the United States after all. And I'm really, really proud of this one. It gets into Forteana. It gets into John Keel's theories about ultra-terrestrials. You guys know because you've read pretty much all of it on Patreon. And if not, those posts are up there, so go check it out. We're waiting for the cover from Llewellyn Worldwide to drop for that book. I know that it's going to be something akin to a black Mothman silhouette with glowing red eyes, which I just kind of like that idea, you know, that less is more idea. They did that with In Search of Demons. I was terrified that they would do something with like a fire-breathing demon on the cover of that, and kudos to Llewellyn for giving us a more understated cover. I think that's what we're going to see with the Mothman book as well. Release date for that is first week of September, which means that September is going to be another double book month for you guys. Now, I know that I've talked about March and then April, May, June, July, August. There'll be a book between March and September. I can almost guarantee you that. As to what it's going to be, it's probably going to be a haunted location book. Most likely The Spectres of Tombstone. That is a real passion project I'm looking forward to doing. So expect to get at least one haunted location book between them. And I'd like to get 2 haunted location books at least out this year, because I know that's what the majority of you subscribe to my writing for. You're ghost people just like me. So we've got a lot in the pipeline. Still under contract to be written are 2 more books, one being the Queen Mary book, Haunting of the Queen Mary, and another is that UFO book, working title, Alien Tides. where I look at UFOs, UAP, and their connection to water. Oh, you know what? I missed one. I'm gonna start writing this book next week. And once we finish posting Great Hauntings, I'll start posting chapters from this. It's the Monsters / Cryptid book, also for Visible Ink Press. So it's going to be another 75K book in this format. This is kind of their new format. The 400-page books of theirs do well with libraries. They do well in schools. The kind of smaller 75,000 word, like 260-page books tend to do better with private personal readers. So I like writing these books. I like having a foot in both camps, both worlds, and I'll never stop as long as people keep paying me to write them. But the next 3 from Visible Ink are going to be this size and this format. So yeah, Dark Spirits comes to you next. I'm already finishing Great Hauntings. After that, I start working on the Monsters book, which will look at monster stories and cryptid stories worldwide. Always wanted to go on the trail of Bigfoot and Chupacabra and things like that. So that'll be a lot of field tripping this summer. Last summer was all field tripping in search of Mothman and the Van Meter Visitor and things like that. Then once that's finished, I start writing around about July, a book that is for Visible Ink, same format, same word count, and it is a haunted history of the United States. This book is going to look at the US from the first colonies, Roanoke and the mysterious disappearance, all the way through 2025. We're going to look at the history of the US as told through the lens of various haunted locations and haunted cases, which it sounds like an absolute dream to write. I actually have taken some things out of my Great Hauntings book to put into that. And I'll give you an example. I'd wanted to write about spiritualism and Abe Lincoln, the haunting of the White House, and the whole connection between Honest Abe and his belief in an afterlife, his premonition of being dead, dying, things like that. And I wrote a few thousand words of it for Great Hauntings because the White House is a great haunted location. And then I just thought, no, you can't tell that history of the shaping of the United States without talking about this. And I know that I duplicate myself in some books because I tell the same stories with updated versions or from different aspects or things like that. So I have pulled that out of Great Hauntings and it's going into the Haunted History book of the US instead. That will most likely be a March 2026 book for Visible Ink. So we're already contracted like that far out. This is crazy. And having talked to them today, they're keen to do more books with me. And again, as long as you guys support me and as long as people keep buying my work, I'll be happy to do more of them. That's a pretty full plate. But I've got one more project to tell you about. And I've not spoken about this on social media. You are the first people to hear about it, as you should be. And this is going to be a deeply personal book. It's going to be written over the next 6 months. A new publisher to me has talked to me about writing a very personal autobiography. I already wrote my paranormal autobiography with In Search of the Paranormal. This is going to be, well, let's put it like this. Working title for this book is Confessions of an Anxious Paramedic. And it is going to cover my 25-year almost journey from being just a civilian, new in the US as an immigrant, to firefighter, EMT, and paramedic. There's going to be a big focus on what it's like to work 911, what lessons I've learned over the years, what it's like to hold somebody's hand when they die, what it's like to take a baby into your hands when they're born, and everything in between. I have a lot of stories that I would like to tell, and it's very much not the usual kind of book I'd write. So on Patreon, leave a note in the comments. Let me know if you would like to read that book on Patreon as well. Okay, it won't be written instead of any of my usual kind of books. It will be an addition. If you're at the $20 tier, you're still going to get a copy of it. But I don't know that it's necessarily of interest to every one of my readers. I know that it will be pretty heart-pounding. It will be pretty high stakes. I'll be talking what it's like to walk into somebody's house because their loved one is dead and to try and pull them back from the jaws of death. you know, it's a book that I really, really want to write because the truth is that pretty much anybody could write this kind of book or this kind of book, right? I'm not selling myself short, but there is nothing about this kind of book that is unique to me, that only I as a person could write. The paramedic book is a story that only I can tell because I'm the one that lived it. And I really, really want to share that with the world. So it looks like that will be written over the next 6 months. I would be shocked if we did not see that by the end of the year. And I'm going to look forward to putting that in your hands. Again, let me know in a comment on Patreon if you would like to be a part of that. Some more breaking news. I'm going to set up a Zoom for February, and I am going to do it from a haunted UK location. I'll be heading back to the UK for a little over a week in February, and here comes Lilith if you hear heavy breathing. I'd like to do a Zoom with you guys, a hangout from a cool historic and haunted location, as well as get some video footage for you there. I have a ton of video for you from Tombstone, by the way, which accompanies the Tombstone book. The only reason I haven't posted it on Patreon yet is I'm saving it to be an enhancement for the Tombstone book when I start posting chapters from that. But I'll also be back in Tombstone on Valentine's Day, appearing at Strange Escapes with our very own Amy Bruni, who is awesome. And I don't think I'll be able to Zoom from there and then because my time will be occupied, quite rightly, helping meet and entertain people and signing books at Strange Escapes. But I'll probably get some more video footage for Patreon there as well. So that is a whole bunch of stuff that is coming up this year. It is going to be absolutely jam-packed with paranormal books and events and things of that nature. I have books scheduled for the next 3 years. So I just want to thank you for being part of this journey and supporting me and everything that I do. No matter what tier you're at, 3, 8, or 10, 20, sorry, I really appreciate your support. I could not do what I do without your support. And it means a great deal to me that you share your time and your hard-earned money helping support me on my journey. Thank you so much for everything that you do. One last favor I'd like to ask you, if I may. I'm very, very proud of In Search of Demons, which you guys all got a chance to read on Patreon, and you all got signed copies at the 20 tier. If you enjoyed that book, would you do me a favor? Would you hop onto Amazon and leave it a rating or a review? I don't bang that drum too often, but it's not a book that has gotten as many reviews as I would like, good or bad. And it's one that I would very much like to see get a wider audience, perhaps more so than anything I've written so far, because I feel strongly in the message of that book, you know, that I wanted to help give a sober, rational assessment of the subject of demons. So the people that are reading it seem to have really liked it. It's getting great reviews and great word of mouth. I would just love to boost that signal. If you'd be willing to help me, that's great. And if not, that's okay. For now, I think I'll start doing a few more of these updates, maybe monthly or bi-monthly, just so you know what's coming down the pike. But I wanted to leave you a whole bunch of information about where we're heading this year. So thank you so much. I appreciate you and everything that you do. Take care. Have a safe night. Stay warm and stay dry. Cheers. Okay. Man, it's not like her to leave all these treats untreated.
I think she's not smart enough.
I don't like performing. I'm not a...
I'm not a monkey.
Well, bitch.
Fuck off.